Welcome to Silicon Scoop, where we dive into the latest tech news impacting the world. Join John Irwin and the Startup Coach as they explore the tech news that matters to you. Stay ahead, stay informed, and now on with the show.
The invisible backbone of modern warfare is timing, and China just shrunk that backbone to the size of a microchip. If you think losing GPS is a minor inconvenience for a drone, think again. This breakthrough means autonomous swarms can now hunt and navigate without ever needing a satellite signal. Atomic precision on a chip. China has reportedly developed the world's smallest chip-scale atomic clock, miniaturizing a lab-sized precision instrument into a component small enough for tiny drones. This effectively makes drones GPS independent, allowing them to operate through heavy electronic jamming that would blind standard commercial or military hardware. What do you think about this, John?
I think this is amazing. This is a cool breakthrough. So just so that we're all on the same page, currently on chips, right? Current clocks on chips, so microprocessors, SoCs, microcontrollers, they're generated using a combination of external low-frequency quartz crystals and internal high-speed circuits called phase-lock loops. So there's a crystal oscillator, which is most digital systems. They're going to start with a quartz crystal, and it acts like a fixed-frequency, low-speed reference, typically around like 20 to 25 hertz when voltage is applied. And then there's the phase lock loop, which receives a low frequency signal and multiplies it up to the required high operating frequency of the CPU. So that's what we're currently using. Now, the breakthrough, this centers on miniaturized atomic clocks, which is CSACs, which is chip scale atomic clocks. So unlike traditional clocks, atomic clocks measure time based on vibrations of atoms. We're talking usually cesium or rubidium, which makes them incredibly precise. So far, they've been able to shrink atomic clocks to centimeter scale devices, able to reduce power consumption to milliwatts, and they've able to make them suitable for integration into small drones. And it's critical because traditional atomic clocks were too large, too expensive, and way too power hungry. So now they're small and cheap enough for mass deployment. And so this matters more than GPS. So modern navigation systems rely on precise timing signals from satellites. But in contested environments, GPS signals can be jammed or spoofed. And so atomic clocks solve this by enabling independent onboard timing. So position, navigation, timing, or PNT. So the synchronization between drones can happen without external signals. So it allows swarms to maintain formation, coordinate movements, and fuse sensor data, even when completely disconnected from satellites, which is super, super cool. Now, this doesn't protect them from what the EPS, what's the signal that completely destroys electronics, the pulse. It doesn't protect them from that, but this will protect them from interference from a signal jammer or things like that. What am I thinking of?
EMP
device. Sorry, yes.
Sorry, I said it, but I was muted at the time.
Oh.
I like to think of this as an update, like upgrading a drone from a cheap stopwatch to a world-class switch watchmaker living inside the motherboard. Most drones count time like a person tapping their foot. Eventually, they get off beat and lose their place. That's drift. The atomic chip uses the vibration of atoms as a universal metronome that never skips a beat, keeping the drone perfectly on course, even when its eyes, GPS are poked out. We know that that's a common military thing where they can take out your GPS or tell your computer you're somewhere else you're not. So your responds. And so they're, from a military point of view, having this protected so it can't be attacked is it doesn't tell your drone or your plane or whatever that, you know, misleading information that you aren't where you are, or takes out that information. It's definitely a leap ahead.
Yeah, this is really cool because it could. So as we're seeing right now on the battlefield, what's winning is cheaper cheaper warfare, if that makes sense. So like these cheaper drones and things like this. And so if they can produce these onboard atomic clocks cheaper, well, now you have cheap drones plus onboard atomic clocks, which is essentially a high performance swarm system.
Well, the world gets kind of scary when you start putting all these things together, like the cardboard drones from Korea, this new atomic clock built in. We talked about a couple of weeks ago the Chinese drone space carrier that just drops them from near whatever, drops thousands and thousands of them. It gets pretty scary from this is a new war. The technology is cool, but I hope we don't have to see it.
Yeah.
At least in a military application.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, this chip scale atomic clock form factor utilizes atomic energy transition, like rudium or likely rudium or cesium to provide timing stable orders of magnitude higher than quartz oscillators. So this is a cornerstone of quantum timing. It exploits a consistent state transition of atoms governed by laws of quantum mechanics to create frequency reference that is nearly immune to environmental interference. This is the biggest shift in navigation since the transition from sextants to GPS. So we're moving from external reference navigation, relying on satellites, to autonomous internal navigation. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I like that they're talking about that it's near impossible to mess with, but that's as nearly immune to environmental interference. But we've never tried to create this kind of environmental interference before, because why would we?
Exactly. Yeah. And like, this isn't just China though, right? The US Air Force is exploring this. NIST and DARPA have chip scale atomic clock development. There's like every military is working on this. So it's not just China.
Absolutely. While we call them clocks, these devices are actually high precision frequency standards. The ticking is the microwave signal emitted when an electron changes its energy state. The U.S. company Symmetron, now Microchip Technology, released the first commercial CSAC in 2011, but China's new breakthrough focused on a significant reduction in the physical footprint and power draw for the attributable expandable compact drones. Like, they've released this. China's just made it really small, and everyone else is on a race to do the same, I guess. The precision timing is so sensitive that atomic clocks at different altitudes tick at different speeds due to Einstein's theory of relativity. Though at a chip scale, the drone's biggest challenge is actually heat dissipation, not gravity.
Yeah, that's really cool, and I love. Yeah, I'm excited for the integrations in the future into technology, for sure. Not just for military uses, for any other kind of use. So,
yeah. So this lab breakthrough isn't quite a battlefield reality yet. These chips must survive high G maneuvers, extreme temperature swings of high altitude flight, and intense vibration without losing their atomic clock. So if you're a drone or in the drone or robotics industry, you should start taking a look at the board sensor fusion, because the hardware is getting smart enough to do a lot of things. We're entering an era of unjammable autonomy. We're all our robots are going to have this. We're thinking drones and this and that because it's a thing, but give this to every robot. Elon Musk and many people say there's going to be more. Every human's going to have at least one, if not more. Robots are going to be more robots than cars, more robots than anything else, and they're all going to have these type of chips in them, so they can know exactly where they are at a micro level in your home. I think it's interesting to see where we're going with this. So, if the GPS went dark tomorrow, would you trust an autonomous drone to fly over your house using only its internal clock? Let me know in the chat.
Tired of drowning in repetitive tasks while your competitors race ahead? Every minute you spend on manual data entry, scheduling, and routine processes is a minute you're not growing your business. Flowgrammer.ca transforms your workflow chaos into seamless automation. We build AI-powered systems that handle your busy work so you can focus on what actually makes you money. Our clients typically save 15 plus hours per week and see their productivity double within 60 days. Visit flowgrammer.ca for a free automation audit. That's flowgrammer.ca. Stop working in your business and start working on it.
What do you got going on, John?
Yeah, just plugging away, helping companies with government funding, attending events, probably startup drinks or Flowgrammer events. How about you, Craig?
Lots of stuff going on. I honestly don't know when this is going out. I have to check. I think it's going to go out in April. But there's all sorts of stuff going on. If you don't know about OpenClaw, it's the latest AI automation agent that's taken the world by storm in 2026. And OpenClaw Toronto chapter just launched. And we have all sorts of events going on. So check out openclawto.com. Our first demo night is April 14th. We have a Builder Cafe on April 10th. We have a bunch of other events. There's updates every day. We've deconstructed the latest 2 betas over the weekend that was launched in OpenClaw and what you should do about them. There's a bunch of articles over there. Go check that out. We're also over at flowgrammer.ca where we do N8N automations. We run the Flowgrammer community and do Builders Hub and connectivity for AI and business automation agents. And for everything else, head over to TorontoStarts where we hook up startups and investors at our Startup Investor Drinks. We do mentoring, we do workshops, we have a list of investors. There's a whole bunch of content over. You can also book me over there if you want a meeting with me to talk about whatever, help your startup. Check out TorontoStarts.com. But John, if people are looking for non-dilutive funding, where should they go and what is that?
Yeah, non-dilutive funding. We're talking government grants, tax credits. Come find me on LinkedIn if you have any questions. Right now is shred time, SRNED. But come reach out to me too if you've got a startup, if you've got a company. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and if they have company questions about their startup in general. Where do they find you, Craig?
Yeah, find me at TorontoStarts.com. But John, just before we go, something's open right now, and it's closing May 31st. Thank you. Can Export. And what?
Yeah. So
what
if
should
you have
people
at
know
least
about that?
300,000 in revenue in the previous year, and you're looking to expand outside of Canada, reach out to me, and we can put together. We can talk about an application for Can Export.
All the links we talked about will be in the show notes wherever you're watching this. Thanks for watching, everybody. Leave us a comment, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to Silicon Scoop. We hope you enjoyed this episode's dive into the latest tech news. Stay connected with John Irwin and the Startup Coach on LinkedIn and subscribe for more insights and updates. Until next time, stay ahead, stay informed.